Hey everyone, Matron here bringing you another StarCraft 2 commentary, this time third round action from the winner's bracket of MLG Dallas, the National Championships. This game will be between 6-Jax DDE and Liquid HuK. So HuK did receive a bye for rounds 1 and 2 of this tournament, at least according to the tournament brackets here. It looks like everybody got a round 1 bye, so not really sure what they're doing with their brackets, but this will actually be the second played round in this tournament. So DDE did knock off Woodosaurus last round 2-0, and will now face the #1 seed in this tournament, HuK. Because Blizzard did allow the one-time names change just this past week, a lot of players have been renaming themselves. HuK had been just lonesome HuK there for a while, and now, since he is on Team Liquid, did pick up that Liquid tag, and it looks like 6-Jax is a new team to the scene, and DDE is now a part of that team. So probably see a lot of players in this tournament, and then in future tournaments as people start changing their name a little bit more, identifying themselves with certain teams. A lot of team play at this tournament, Root, Liquid, EG, etc., etc. A lot of new teams like this 6-Jax team. So be interesting to see how these teams sort of evolve, and which team really comes out on top. See HuK sending that early probe scout like he always does. Is going to check that tower, wants to make sure if there's any SCVs that are going left, right, up, down from these positions scouting. He can easily see where they're coming from, and he can get to the enemy base a little bit earlier than usual. So he's going to set his second pylon over here. Again, on Lost Temple, it's a great pylon placement as you're able to warp in on the low ground and able to see both sides of that grass. Looks like he's getting a cybernetics core up right away, so pretty standard opening, just 1 gate into cybernetics core. DDE's just has the 1 barracks working right now. Looks like 2 Marines are coming out. They are going to be able to deny any scouting from HuK's probe. More importantly, they're going to be able to deny any sort of harassment that HuK's initial probe tends to like to do. So HuK's going to go grab that gold and go back to his base, 7 minerals richer. Do see the cybernetics core about complete for HuK. So wondering his tech path here. DDE is in his base with a scout. Looks like we have a robotics facility coming down, which DDE is going to be able to see. Looks like he's going to get a factory in response as well as a reactor. First stalker coming out for HuK here, going to be able to deny the scout from DDE. And also warp gate tech is on the way. HuK possibly throw up another 2 gateways to go along with this robotics facility in about a minute, so it's timed well with the warp gate tech, and possibly just be pushing out Stalker and then maybe a sentry after this Stalker comes out. There's the sentry. It looks like we have Marines out patrolling, making sure that HuK does not have that tower, and then they're just going to come back. We do have a 1-1-1 build for the Terran player here. So DDE opens up with a barracks, with a reactor, pushing out more and more Marines, a factory, preparing a tech lab, and a starport. So with these 3 buildings up and these 2 add-ons, he's going to be able to do all sorts of things. He could land the factory on the reactor, go for Hellions, he could land the barracks on the tech lab, and get up some Marauders, or he could land the starport on either and go for any of the starport units. Do see that SCV just still working, trying to get information from HuK's build here. Do see the first Immortal coming out. Not really sure why HuK's going Immortal blindly here. All the scouting he saw so far has been Marines, and DDE, because he knows that robotics facility there, is going to go for early Marines here. HuK's not going to be able to get out to Colossus as early as the 6-minute mark. So HuK is sending out that first observer, something he really likes to do early. I'm quite surprised the observer was not the first unit he made out of the robotics facility there. So he's going to be able to see the build of DDE, going to see most of these Marines. Also throwing down an expansion here. Very few units for HuK if we look at the Army tab, 525 just compared to the 450 of DDE. It does have these 2 sentries, so going to be able to control and split that, that Terran Marine ball if he chooses to. Observer coming back wants to have eyes on the Terran army here. It looks like we have a Banshee moving out for DD. He might be doing a split attack. The Marines at the front door, Banshees at the back. Looks like he's trying to move his army. He needs to not move all of his army to try to take out this Banshee though. He needs to make sure he's denying this this Marine ball as well. We do see the Guardian Shield go up, going to reduce the damage from those Marines. It looks like that Banshee with about half life and no kills is going to retreat. So DD is pulling back here. We'll see if HuK goes for a robotics facility or robotics bay here and Colossi to counter this mostly Marine army. Looks like we still have Banshees trying to do more work. He is getting a second Banshee out here and is going to be able to try to take down this pylon from range. At the same time, the Marines are pressing in at the front door, so now an unpowered robotics facility, so that's huge. HuK's got to put these pylons on the inside of his base. So we see that that pylon, which I applauded earlier, is now down and maybe not so smart of a position when you're going against Banshees, especially if you have it single powering a robotics facility. So HuK is just now on these 4 gateways. He does have a Twilight Council up. He is not yet getting any sort of research from that, but he may be going for either Darks or High Templar. Moving out with these Stalkers, going to be able to take down that low health Banshee, and now going to try to focus down more Banshees here. Do see that Observer still great positioning here, able to see everything DDE is doing. DDE did throw down a few bunkers here, not really sure why. He may think that HuK was just trying to turtle up and then push out with an army, which it looks like he's now going to do. HuK splitting his army a little bit, wants to make sure there are no more Banshees, and those Banshees are taking a high route there. So HuK looked for him but missed them here, and now we'll see how he reacts when those Banshees are in his base right when he wants to attack. Looks like we see the factory about to land down here, maybe trying to deny some pathway here, make those units go around that factory. So we see the Banshees in the mineral line of HuK. He's going to do his best to warp in here, but most of his warp gates are on cooldown. So we see the front door of DDE. He is getting some force fields down here, going to try to deny those Marines. Some Marines in the back are not able to shoot. These SCVs are coming up and trying to repair the bunkers, but they're just going down. That Immortal so powerful against those bunkers. The Banshee is just having its way with the supply line of HuK, but HuK has breached the front door. Finally able to take down that Observer. DDE is with a good scan. We see more bunkers coming down for DDE. See, DDE does have quite the income advantage. HuK was able to kill a ton of workers there. If you look at the units lost tab, HuK's lost 2250 compared to the 1200 of DDE. Now we see these Stalkers trying to intercept the Banshee before it can get back to the base, and now that Stalker is going to be able to take down that Banshee. Banshee had a lot of kills though on those probes, and it really hurt the economy of HuK. HuK now down to 35 probes on these 2 bases. DDE up to 48 probes, plus those mules going to make a ton of difference. He's really going to be able to get out a lot more units than HuK is at this point. HuK is going to have to rely on good unit compositions against the Terran army. Now we have Blink Stalkers coming in, going to deny that that scout by DDE there. These high ground Stalkers can be good as long as you deny the air view of the Terran player here. He cannot get on the tower, and he cannot bring Banshees into the fight as well. We see this Observer still here, able to see these 3 bunkers now, and we see the Blink Stalkers. Some great sight given by that Observer. They are able to take down these bunkers. He needs to salvage these bunkers. There's nothing he can do. He's going to try to salvage it, and no, it's going to go down before he's able to salvage it. Now we see Marauders coming out for HuK here. So countering these Stalkers with Marauders, DDE is now moving across the field with a large attack here. HuK's going to have to pull back to defend his natural. HuK does have a few Stalkers there and quite a few Zealots. These Zealots do not yet have charge though, so they can be kited by the Marauder and Marine army here. The few Banshees are going to give him sight up to the high ground. He can shoot down those Stalkers if they try to blink to the high ground. So now going to try to take on this army. HuK's going to have a split army here, pinching from both sides. The Marines and Marauders are not going to be able to do any kiting. As we see, DDE is just going to try to separate his units a little bit. So you see some going down, some going up here. And he is going to be able to finish off both of HuK's forces, the left and the right. And now going to try to focus down this Nexus. If he's able to get down this Nexus, HuK might be GG here for him, as he does not yet have a third expansion. And it looks like HuK is going to GG there. So some interesting play, some early Banshees from DDE, able to put a lot of pressure on HuK. And then at one point they just sort of base raced there, only it was more of a probe race versus the front door of DDE. HuK was able to breach the front door but just could not push all the way in, and DDE was able to just destroy the probes of HuK and really limit his income in that late game, or in the mid game there. So HuK, the #1 seed of MLG Dallas, loses the first game of this round 2 best of 3 series. So if DDE is able to pick up one more game, either the second game or if he loses that one, the third, he will eliminate HuK from the winner's bracket, knock him down to the loser's bracket, which is quite a more difficult journey to the end of this tournament. So I hope you enjoyed this one. I'll go ahead and cast game 2 now, so I'll see you there.